The last line of defense. The void between stars was never truly silent. Even now, as the refugee vessel Twilight Seeker drifted with minimal power, the ship's systems hummed with desperate life. Inside the cramped command center, Captain Zirith's translucent fingers trembled over the controls. The Mithrani leader's multifaceted eyes reflected the horrifying sight displayed on the main viewport. 7 Hunter-class warships surrounding them in a perfect killing formation. "Status report," Zirith whispered, the captain's voice resonating with the distinctive harmonic tones of their species. Engineer Kella looked up from her station, her bioluminescent skin pulsing with anxiety. Life support at 30%. Shields barely functional. Engines unresponsive. She hesitated. "They're toying with us, Captain. They could have destroyed us already." The Twilight Seeker wasn't a warship. It was a civilian transport, hastily converted to carry the 300 remaining Mithrani refugees after their homeworld had been classified as a strategic resource acquisition zone by the hegemony. The Mithrani, with their crystalline bodies and pacifistic philosophy, had never stood a chance. A harsh voice crackled through the ship's communications system, making several of the bridge crew flinch. "Refugee vessel Twilight Seeker. This is Commander Drex of the Hegemony Hunter Fleet. You have violated Restricted Zone 47. Your species has been declared non-compliant with hegemony directives. Prepare for immediate neutralization." Zirith's external membrane paled. Non-compliant was the hegemony's favorite euphemism for extinction. "We have children aboard," Zirith responded, voice steady despite their fear. "We request sanctuary under the Galactic Accord." "The Accord is no longer recognized in this sector," Commander Drex interrupted. "You have 5 minutes to make peace with whatever deities you worship." The communication cut off. On the viewport, the hunter ships began to power up their main weapons. The distinctive crimson glow of plasma cannons illuminated the darkness. "Alert the evacuation pods," Zirith ordered quietly. "Though I doubt they'll let any escape." Kella's light patterns flickered in despair. The pods would barely make it 1,000 kilometers before they're targeted. "We need a miracle." It was at that precise moment that the ship's sensors chimed with an unexpected alert. A new signature had appeared at the edge of their scanner range. Approaching fast. Too fast for a conventional drive system. "Is it more hegemony?" Zirith asked, shoulders slumping. The tactical officer studied his display. "Negative. It's smaller. A single vessel. Configuration unknown." He paused. "It's broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let's hear it," Zirith ordered. Static filled the bridge, then resolved into a voice, rougher than the hegemony's polished tones, but undeniably determined. "This is Captain Ilara Voss of the independent vessel Firebrand. I'm reading multiple Hunter-class signatures surrounding a civilian ship. Not very sporting of you, Drex." On the hegemony command ship, Commander Drex's scaled face contorted with rage. "Voss, you're supposed to be dead. The tribunal sentenced you to the void 3 cycles ago." A harsh laugh came through the channel. "The void and I came to an understanding. Can't say the same for your Hunter-class toys, though. Still using the Mark VI targeting systems. Shame about that glitch in the forward sensor array. Never could get that fixed, could you?" The comms went silent as Drex switched to a private channel. On the Twilight Seeker sensors, the new vessel, the Firebrand, was accelerating directly toward the blockade. "They're going to get themselves killed," Kella whispered. Zirith watched, transfixed. Who would challenge 7 hunter ships alone? "A human," the tactical officer said quietly. The voice pattern matches human vocal ranges. The Mithrani crew exchanged glances. Humans were a contradiction in the galaxy, technologically behind most species, but with a reputation for unpredictability that made even the hegemony cautious. They had been largely isolated since refusing to join the hegemony 50 years ago, their system blockaded by the same hunter ships that now surrounded the Mithrani. The Firebrand suddenly accelerated to attack speed, plasma trails blazing behind it as it charged directly at the lead hunter ship. Is it ramming them? Kella asked in disbelief. The tactical display showed the human vessel on a collision course with Commander Drex's flagship. At the last possible second, the firebrand executed a maneuver that should have torn apart any ship constructed of conventional materials. It corkscrewed around the hunter ship, releasing a swarm of what looked like mining charges that attached to the larger vessel's hull. "Brilliant," whispered the tactical officer. "Those are resonance bombs calibrated to the hunter's shield frequency." Before anyone could respond, the charges detonated in a synchronized pulse. They weren't powerful enough to destroy the hunter ship, but they created momentary gaps in its defensive shields, gaps that the firebrand immediately exploited, firing precision shots into the hunter's engine housing. The massive vessel's lights flickered, and it began to drift. The other 6 hunter ships broke formation, trying to target the firebrand as it weaved between them with impossible agility. "Calling that a fair fight now, Drex," Captain Voss's voice haunted over the open channel. On the Twilight Seeker's bridge, the crew watched in astonishment as the lone human vessel danced between enemy fire, always one step ahead of the targeting computers. "How are they doing that?" Zirith asked. "They know the hunter ships," the tactical officer replied. "Look at the attack pattern. They're exploiting the firing sequence algorithms, moving precisely where the hunter ships can't target efficiently." The firebrand spun through a gap between 2 hunter ships, causing them to fire at each other in their attempt to hit the smaller vessel. One of the hunter ships took significant damage, its starboard weapons array erupting in flames that quickly extinguished in the vacuum. "Twilight Seeker," came Captain Voss's voice, now directed at them. "Your engines are offline, but your maneuvering thrusters should still function. When I give the signal, I need you to rotate 40 degrees starboard and fire everything you've got at the coordinates I'm transmitting." "But we don't have weapons," Kella responded automatically. "Your ship has industrial mining lasers, doesn't it? They're not weapons, but they'll do the job if aimed at the right spot. Trust me." Zirith hesitated only for a moment. "Prepare the mining lasers. Divert emergency power to maneuvering thrusters." The firebrand continued its deadly dance, drawing the hunter ships into a tighter formation as they attempted to coordinate their attack. The human vessel took several hits, shield flaring dangerously with each impact, but it didn't slow. "Now," Captain Voss shouted through the comms. The Twilight Seeker rotated as ordered, and Kella activated the mining lasers at the transmitted coordinates. The beams, designed to cut through asteroids, struck precisely where the firebrand's data had indicated, the junction between a hunter ship's command module and its weapon systems. The effect was immediate. The hunter ship's automated safety protocols engage, shutting down its primary power to prevent a catastrophic overload. A second hunter ship, flying too close to its disabled companion, collided with the suddenly dead vessel. "Well done." Voss's voice was triumphant. "Now hold tight while I finish this party." The firebrand accelerated again, this time heading straight for what appeared to be empty space. As it reached a specific point, it released a cloud of metallic debris, simple shrapnel. "What are they doing?" Kella asked. The tactical officer's eyes widened. "There's a cloaked vessel there, the command relay for the hunter fleet." The shrapnel collided with the invisible ship, revealing its outline as the particles bounced off its hull. The firebrand didn't waste the opportunity, firing a concentrated barrage at the now exposed command relay. The cloak failed completely, revealing a sleek communications vessel that coordinated the hunter fleet's movements. "You always were sloppy with your command structure, Drex," Voss taunted over the channel. One central node. Amateur hour. The firebrand delivered a precision strike to the relay vessel's communications array. Immediately, the remaining hunter ships' movements became less coordinated, their formations breaking down as they lost their tactical advantage. On the Twilight Seeker's bridge, hope began to replace despair. They watched as the human vessel systematically disabled 2 more hunter ships, targeting critical systems rather than attempting to destroy them outright. "Why aren't they finishing them off?" Kella asked. "The crews," Zirith realized. The human is disabling the ships without killing their crews unnecessarily. The firebrand took another hit, this one more serious. Its port stabilizer vented atmosphere, and its maneuverability visibly decreased. Still, Captain Voss pressed the attack, focusing now on Commander Drex's flagship, which had partially recovered from the initial assault. Voss. Drex's voice was filled with fury. The hegemony will hunt you to the edges of the galaxy for this. They've been doing that for years, Voss replied calmly. You'll have to get in line. The firebrand executed a series of tight maneuvers around the flagship, each one bringing it dangerously close to the larger vessel's point defense systems. With each pass, it delivered precision strikes to external sensor arrays and weapons emplacements. Twilight Seeker, Voss called. I'm creating an opening. When the flagship's forward shields drop, I need you to overload your engine core, a controlled burst only, and direct the energy wave at these coordinates. The data streamed to the Mithrani ship's computers, showing exact timing and targeting information. That would use the last of our power reserves, Kella warned. Zirith nodded. Do it. We won't need reserves if we're dead. The firebrand made its final attack run, absorbing punishing fire as it targeted the flagship's shield generators. For a moment, it seemed the human vessel would be destroyed as multiple hits connected with its hull. But then the flagship's forward shields flickered and collapsed. Now, Voss commanded. Kella initiated the controlled overload. The Twilight Seeker shuddered as the last of its power surged through its systems and erupted as a directed energy wave. The pulse struck the flagship precisely where Voss had indicated, the exposed command bridge. All lights on the hegemony vessel went dark. Emergency systems activated moments later, but the damage was done. Its offensive capabilities were offline. The remaining 2 hunter ships, seeing their commander disabled and more than half their fleet incapacitated, began to retreat. Cowards. Drex's voice was barely audible through the damaged communication system. Stand and fight. But the hunter ships continued their withdrawal, disappearing into faster-than-light travel as soon as they were clear of the gravitational distortions. The bridge of the Twilight Seeker erupted in crystalline tones of relief and disbelief. They had survived the impossible. Captain Voss, Zirith called. We are forever in your debt, but your ship appears critically damaged. Please, dock with us so we can offer what assistance we can. There was a pause before the human responded, her voice noticeably strained now. Appreciate the offer. Think I'll take you up on that. My med systems are offline, and I've got a hull breach that duct tape isn't fixing. As the damaged firebrand limped toward the Twilight Seeker's docking bay, Kella turned to Zirith. Why would a human risk everything for us? We've never even encountered their species directly. Zirith watched the approaching vessel, its hull scorched and venting atmosphere in multiple places. I don't know, but I intend to ask. The Mithrani crew hurried to prepare for their unexpected savior, wondering what kind of being would challenge an entire hunter fleet alone, and win. Lighting the void, the firebrand's airlock hissed open, releasing a cloud of acrid smoke into the Twilight Seeker's docking bay. The Mithrani medical team tensed, unsure what condition the human captain would be in. Through the thinning smoke emerged Captain Ilara Voss, tall for a human at nearly 2 meters, with dark skin covered in a network of old scars. Her right arm ended in a cybernetic prosthetic, and a fresh wound crossed her left temple, painting half her face with blood. Despite her injuries, she walked with purpose, eyes quickly assessing the docking bay and the crystalline aliens waiting for her. A smile broke through her grim expression. Your ship looks worse on the inside than mine, she commented, nodding to the exposed wiring and jury-rigged systems visible throughout the refugee vessel. Zirith stepped forward, the captain's crystalline form catching the light. We had to leave much behind when we fled. I am Captain Zirith, and you have saved my people from extinction, Captain Voss. We are eternally grateful. Voss waved her cybernetic hand dismissively, then winced as the movement pulled at some hidden injury. Save the gratitude. Those hunter ships will be back, and they'll bring friends. The medical team approached cautiously, but Voss shook her head. Patch up my ship first. I've survived worse than this. Your injuries require attention, the lead medic insisted. And your people need a functioning escape vessel more than I need stitches, Voss countered. Those hunter ships reported back before I could jam their transmissions. The hegemony knows exactly where we are. Zirith gestured to Kella, who had been waiting nearby. Our engineer will assist with your vessel's repairs. But Captain, I must ask, why did you intervene? Humans have avoided hegemony conflicts for decades. Voss's expression darkened. Let's just say I have history with Commander Drex and his hunting parties. She gestured to her cybernetic arm. Personal history. As they walked toward the command center, Voss studied the refugees they passed in the corridors. Mithrani of all ages, many showing signs of malnutrition and trauma. Children with dimmed bioluminescence huddled together, while adults worked frantically to maintain the failing ship. How many survived? Voss asked quietly. 327, Zirith answered. Out of a population of millions, the hegemony declared our homeworld a restricted resource acquisition zone 6 months ago. Those who resisted were eliminated. The rest were relocated to labor facilities. Voss's jaw tightened. They're strip mining your world for crystalline matrices, aren't they? Your people's biological makeup is similar to the resonance crystals used in their quantum communications. Zirith seemed surprised. You know our biology. I know the hegemony, Voss corrected. They don't destroy civilizations without profit margins. They reached the command center, where tactical displays showed multiple hegemony signals converging on their position. The nearest reinforcements were still hours away, but the countdown had begun. Your ship, Zirith asked. Can it be repaired in time? Voss studied the tactical display. The firebrand can fly, but it won't win against what's coming. Drex is sending a Leviathan-class destroyer. Those things carry enough firepower to glass a small moon. The Mithrani bridge crew exchanged frightened glances. Leviathan destroyers were the hegemony's answer to planetary rebellions, ships designed not for precision, but for absolute annihilation. Then we must flee, Zirith decided. If you could escort us to the nearest neutral territory. There is no neutral territory anymore, Voss interrupted. The hegemony has been systematically eliminating or absorbing independent worlds for years. The only reason Earth remains untouched is because we have enough planet-killer weapons to make conquest unprofitable. She turned to face Zirith directly. But I didn't come here just to buy you a few more days of running. I came because your people represent something that could change everything. What do you mean? Zirith asked. Voss tapped her cybernetic arm. This isn't just a replacement limb. It's a prototype created by human scientists using smuggled Mithrani crystalline technology. Your biological structures can interface directly with quantum systems in ways that hegemony tech can't detect or disrupt. Understanding dawned in Zirith's multifaceted eyes. You want to use our biology as a weapon against the hegemony. I want to give your people a chance to fight back, Voss corrected. And yes, I want to hit the hegemony where it hurts. They took my arm, my commission, and tried to take my life. But more importantly, they've taken freedom from half the galaxy. Before Zirith could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. The tactical officer's voice was tight with fear. Proximity alert. A ship just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. It's not a Leviathan. But I've never seen this configuration before. The view screen displayed a sleek black vessel, smaller than a hunter ship, but emanating energy readings that dwarfed anything they'd seen before. Prototype, Voss whispered, her face paling. They sent the Nemesis prototype. Drex must have pulled every favor he had. What is it? Kella asked, having just returned from inspecting the firebrand. A hunter-killer designed specifically for rogue elements, Voss explained. It's piloted by a hybrid AI using the recorded neural patterns of veteran commanders. In other words, it thinks like the best hegemony tacticians because it literally contains their minds. The black ship made no attempt to communicate. It simply began a methodical approach, weapons systems powering up. "It's scanning us," the tactical officer reported, "breaking through our encryption like it isn't even there." Voss turned to Kella. "Your people's crystalline structures. They can interface with technology, correct? Function as living conductors." Kella nodded hesitantly. "In theory. We can synchronize our neural oscillations with certain electronic systems. It's how we operated our more advanced technology before the invasion." "Then I have a plan," Voss said, "but it's going to sound insane, and it will put one of your people at significant risk." Zirith didn't hesitate. "Tell us." "The Nemesis has one weakness. Its hybrid AI can't process true quantum entanglement states. If we could create a communication system that operates on quantum principles beyond its predictive algorithms." "You want to use one of my people as a quantum transmitter," Zirith realized. "I need a volunteer to physically interface with my ship's systems," Voss confirmed. "The Firebrand has experimental quantum technology that could disrupt the Nemesis, but it needs a biological interface that can handle the feedback." There was silence on the bridge. What Voss proposed was dangerous in the extreme. A Mithrani connecting directly to human technology could result in neural damage or worse. "I will do it," Kella said quietly. Zirith turned to the engineer. "Kella, no. My family was among the first taken to the labor facilities." Kella interrupted. "If there's even a chance this could hurt the hegemony, I volunteer." The Nemesis fired its first shot, a precision strike that collapsed the Twilight Seeker's remaining shields and pierced its hull near the engine room. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut, preventing catastrophic decompression, but trapping several crew members. "We don't have time to debate," Voss said. "If your engineer is willing, we need to move now." Within minutes, they had reached the Firebrand. Despite the external damage, the ship's interior was a marvel of human ingenuity. Adapted alien technology merged with Earth engineering in ways that defied conventional design. At the heart of the cockpit was a neural interface chair surrounded by crystalline components that Kella recognized immediately. "These are from my homeworld," she whispered. "Salvaged from abandoned outposts," Voss explained. "I've been collecting Mithrani tech for years, trying to find a way to counter the hegemony's technological advantage." Kella sat in the interface chair, her crystalline body already resonating with the surrounding technology. "What do I need to do?" "Your neural patterns will serve as both a quantum key and a transmission medium," Voss explained, activating systems around them. "The Firebrand's computers will use your natural quantum states to create an entangled field that should disrupt the Nemesis targeting systems, and, if we're lucky, its command functions." Kella nodded. "And the risk to me?" Voss met her gaze directly. "Best case, temporary neural disorientation. Worst case, permanent mind fragmentation." "Begin," Kella said simply. As Voss initiated the interface sequence, the Twilight Seeker shuddered under another precision strike from the Nemesis. On the tactical display, the black ship was methodically targeting life support and propulsion systems, not trying to destroy them outright, but to ensure no escape was possible. The interface activated, and Kella's body arched in the chair, her crystalline form glowing with internal light, as her neural patterns synchronized with the Firebrand's quantum systems. The ship's engines hummed to life, power surging through previously dark systems. "It's working," Voss said in amazement. "The Mithrani crystalline structure is amplifying the quantum field beyond anything I thought possible." On the bridge of the Twilight Seeker, Zirith watched as the Firebrand detached from the docking bay, its damaged hull now pulsing with the same bioluminescent patterns as Kella's body. "What is happening?" Zirith asked the tactical officer. "The human vessel is emitting quantum signatures unlike anything I've seen," the officer replied. "The Nemesis is. It appears to be attempting to adjust its targeting systems." The Firebrand accelerated toward the Nemesis, trailing streams of energy that defied conventional physics. Inside the cockpit, Voss navigated manually while Kella, still connected to the interface, served as the ship's quantum core. The Nemesis uses predictive algorithms based on known tactics, Voss explained to Kella, whose consciousness was now partially merged with the ship. But it can't predict what it can't comprehend. Your quantum states are creating patterns it cannot resolve. Through the neural link, Kella could feel the Nemesis attempting to track them, its artificial mind a cold, calculating presence in the void. But each time it established a targeting solution, the quantum field generated by her crystalline biology shifted in ways the AI couldn't anticipate. The firebrand danced around the larger vessel, its movements unpredictable even to Voss, who was piloting it. The ship responded not just to her commands, but to Kella's neural impulses, creating a hybrid control system that no computer could predict. The Nemesis fired repeatedly, but each shot found only empty space where the firebrand had been microseconds before. Frustrated, the prototype vessel began charging its main weapon, a gravitational disruption cannon designed to tear ships apart at the molecular level. Now, Voss said to Kella through the interface, focus your thoughts on the signal I'm sending. Amplify it through your crystalline structure. Kella complied, channeling the quantum transmission through her body. The firebrand released a pulse that struck the Nemesis just as its main weapon reached full charge. The effect was instantaneous. The hybrid AI, unable to process the quantum contradictions in the signal, experienced the equivalent of a seizure. The Nemesis' systems began to fight against each other, its weapons powering down as emergency protocols conflicted with tactical directives. The black ship drifted, caught in a loop of contradictory commands. It worked, Voss exclaimed. But it won't last long. The AI will eventually reset. She turned the firebrand back toward the Twilight Seeker. We need to finish this now. Kella, I need one more pulse, stronger this time. Target their engine core. Kella's body was trembling from the strain, her crystalline form showing stress fractures, but she nodded. I can do it. The firebrand circled behind the disabled Nemesis. Kella channeled everything she had left into one final quantum pulse, directed precisely at the prototype's quantum engine core. The pulse hit its target, creating a cascading reaction within the Nemesis power systems. The ship's sleek hull began to crack as conflicting energy signatures tore through its internal structure. Get clear, Voss shouted, pulling the firebrand away at maximum thrust. The Nemesis exploded not in a conventional blast, but in an implosion of quantum energy, collapsing in on itself before releasing a shockwave that caught the edge of the firebrand, sending it tumbling toward the Twilight Seeker. Voss fought for control, managing to stabilize just enough to avoid a collision. She docked roughly with the refugee ship as Kella collapsed in the interface chair, her crystalline form dim but intact. On the bridge of the Twilight Seeker, the crew watched in awe as the Nemesis prototype, a vessel that should have been invincible, disintegrated into quantum particles. When Voss returned to the bridge, supporting a weakened Kella, Zirith approached them both with reverence. You have done the impossible twice now, Captain. Voss helped Kella to a seat. Not impossible, just unlikely. She turned to the tactical display. And we're not done. The Leviathan is still coming. We cannot hope to defeat a Leviathan, Zirith said. Not even with what you and Kella accomplish. No, Voss agreed. But now we have something more valuable than a tactical victory. We have proof that Mithrani quantum biology can disrupt hegemony technology at its core. She gestured to the dissipating remains of the Nemesis. That was their most advanced prototype, and your engineer just turned it into space dust. Understanding dawned on Zirith's face. You want to take this knowledge to Earth? Voss nodded. My people have been isolated, developing defenses but hesitant to confront the hegemony directly. This could change everything. A true alliance between humans and Mithrani, your quantum biology combined with our unconventional tactics. The hegemony would hunt us to the edges of the galaxy, Kella said weakly. Voss smiled, the expression transforming her scared face. They already are. The difference is, now we can hurt them back. She turned to Zirith. The Twilight Seeker can't outrun a Leviathan, but the Firebrand can. If we transfer your people to my ship in shifts, make multiple trips to the nearby asteroid field, we can hide them until I bring reinforcements from Earth. You would do this for us? Zirith asked, after already risking everything. Not just for you, Voss replied. For everyone the hegemony has crushed, relocated, or exploited. They think they can consume the galaxy piece by piece because no one stands against them. Her eyes hardened. It's time to show them they're wrong. As the crew began emergency evacuation preparations, Kella approached Voss privately. The interface. I saw fragments of your memories. You were a hegemony officer once. Voss's hand moved unconsciously to her cybernetic arm. Yes, until I refused an order to bombard a civilian settlement. Drex was my commanding officer. He took my arm as punishment and left me for dead in space. And now you fight them alone. Not alone, Voss corrected, looking at the Mithrani working around them. Not anymore. Within hours, the first group of Mithrani refugees had been transferred to the Firebrand and hidden among the asteroid field. As Voss prepared for her second trip, the long-range sensors detected the Leviathan dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. We're out of time, Zirith said. You must take this group and go. Voss shook her head. I'm coming back for everyone. That's a promise. As the Firebrand detached once more from the dying refugee ship, Voss opened a channel to the approaching Leviathan. Hegemony vessel, this is Captain Ilara Voss. You've lost 2 prototype ships and 7 hunters today. The Mithrani refugees are under my protection now. Earth stands with them. There was a long pause before a response came. This is Admiral Kresh of the Hegemony Leviathan Inevitable Conquest. You have directly interfered with hegemony operations, Captain Voss. This is an act of war. Voss smiled grimly. No, Admiral. This is an act of resistance. And it's just the beginning. She cut the transmission and turned to Kella, who sat beside her in the co-pilot's seat, ready to light up the void. Kella's crystalline form pulsed with renewed determination. Ready, Captain. The Firebrand accelerated away, carrying with it not just refugees, but the spark of a resistance that would soon engulf the stars. Behind them, the Twilight Seeker transmitted the quantum signature of the Nemesis' destruction to every corner of the galaxy, a message that needed no translation. The hegemony was no longer invincible. Humanity had arrived to feed them fire.